And we're also going to look at complementary and supplementary angles. Remember, complementary angles are two angles whose sum is 90. Supplementary angles add up to 180. Specifically, complementary and supplementary angles are two angles, whereas in a triangle, you have three angles who add to 180 degrees, but they would not be called supplementary angles. All right, so finding the complement and supplement. For the complement, subtract from 90, so we get 30 degrees. For the supplement, subtract from 180, so we get 120 degrees. Same thing for B. 90 minus 33 gives us 57, and 180 minus 33 gives us 147. Example 2 is similar to example 1, except for now we have a triangle. I'm a visual learner, so I'm going to draw my triangle. It said angle C is 90 degrees, and angle B is given. So if the measure of angle B is 2 degrees, we've got 90 degrees from the 180 already taken up, so that leaves us with 90 degrees for the measures of A and B. So really we're looking for the complement of a 2-degree angle, which is 88 degrees. So that would be a measure of angle A. And if the measure of angle B is Z degrees, the complement of that would be 90 minus Z degrees. Now we're going to look at some word problems, specifically looking at the angles in a triangle. So if we know the ratio of the angles is 1 to 1 to 3, let's draw out this triangle here. We've got one angle, we don't know what it is, so we'll call it X. There's another angle that's in a 1 to 1 ratio, meaning it's the same value. The third angle is in a 3 to 1 ratio, or 3x. So inside our triangle, we have a total of 5 x's equaling 180 degrees. So solving for x, we got 36 degrees, so that's the measure of the first two angles. 3x is 108 degrees. So the two equal angles are 36 degrees, and the third angle is 108. All right, next question. We have two angles, again, have the same measure. So this is similar to the last one, so I'm going to set up my triangle here. Two angles that both measure x. The third angle is 20 more than, means add, 8 times one of the other angles, so 8x. So again, combining my like terms, I've got a total of 10x plus 20 equals 180. Subtracting 20 from both sides and dividing by 10, we get the measure of two of our angles is 16 degrees. Our third angle is 148 degrees. And finally, this one is a little bit more challenging to think about. The first information we're given is that two of the angles are consecutive odd integers. Okay, so we have to think about what those terms mean. Consecutive means next to each other. So for example, 1 and 3 are consecutive odd integers. Now instead of guess and check, I'm going to think about how to write an expression for an odd integer. Well, I know that if I take any number to start with, I don't know if it's even or odd, but if I multiply it by 2, I automatically get an even number. Any number you multiply by 2 will be even, because only even numbers have a factor of 2. So how do I get an odd number if I know I have an even number? Well, anytime I add 1 to an even number, I will get an odd number. So my first odd integer is 2x plus 1, knowing that x is an integer. So I'll label this. This is my first angle. All right, well, my next angle is the consecutive, or the next odd integer. So if I know I have an odd integer, how do I get the next odd integer? Well, what did I do to my 1 to get 3? I added 2. So if I add 2 to my first expression, this is my next odd integer, so we'll call this my second angle. All right, so we've got an expression for the first odd angle. We've got an expression for the second odd angle. Now the third angle is twice the sum of the first two. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is find the sum. So when I add my two angles together, I get 4x plus 4. So to get twice that, I'll multiply it by 2. And that will give me my third angle. So now I have expressions for all three angles. So when I add them together, I have to get 180 degrees for my triangle. So that's what I'll do next. My first angle again is 2x plus 1. Sorry, there should be a plus sign there. My second angle, I've got 2x plus 3. And my third angle, I'm going to distribute that too. I've got 8x plus 8, totaling 180 degrees. Combining like terms, I've got 8x plus 2x plus 2x gives me 12x. 8 plus 3 plus 1 gives me 12. Subtracting 12 and dividing by 12, I get x equals 14. Now remember, x wasn't the answer for any of my angles. First of all, 14 is not odd. Secondly, those expressions that I wrote up here will give me my three angles. So my first angle is 2 times 14 plus 1, which gives me 29 degrees. And instead of substituting into all of those expressions, I know my second angle is the next consecutive odd integer. So 29 plus 2 gives me 31. And my third angle is twice the sum. Well, 31 plus 29 gives me 60. If I double that, I get 120 degrees. So those are my three angles.